Hi everyone, Kate here for a tag video. I keep meaning to do more of these, but what will happen is I'll look at one book tag and think, oh, maybe I want to do that one. And then there end up being like 3 questions that I either don't have a good answer for, or I think my answer is really boring and predictable, and I just end up not doing tags. So if you have any tag videos down below that you're like, oh, I would love to see Kate Howe do this tag, you can leave it in the comments and I will do my utmost to take part in that book tag. I saw this one over at Mary from Mary Among Stories channel, and her videos are so dreamy. And she can make any tag just look like the most soothing, cozy thing ever. So I will be doing the 20 questions book tag. And the first one is, how many books is too many books in a series? Now, I think the limit does not exist is the first answer that I think of, because I'm thinking of mystery series. And I think that if you have a good pattern going, and especially if there is a bigger overarching plot that happens like in Louise Penny's Three Pines series, that maybe you can just keep going and keep going. But I also haven't gotten to the end, like the Hercule Poirot series. There's like 30 some of those. I've never gotten 30 books deep into a series. I've gotten 24 in to the Inspector Wexford books by Ruth Rendell. Fantasy series, if you saw my Wheel of Time video, then you'll know that I didn't feel that keen on that. But I think it's because it was kind of a miss for me. So I think as long as it feels like you're not beating a dead horse, you can just keep going and going with a series. I think that's what I think. But if it is a fantasy series, though, I would want to wait till they were all written before I started it, because I still haven't started The Name of the Wind. I want to wait till the 3rd one is finally published to take part in that. How do I feel about cliffhangers? I think I'm okay with cliffhangers. The time I wouldn't be okay with a cliffhanger is if they hadn't actually figured out what they were going to do, the author hadn't figured out what they were going to do in the next book, or didn't end up writing the next book. That would be very frustrating. But if it's a cliffhanger that has me, it spurs me on to read the next in the series, I don't mind them. I think they're fun. And 3rd question, hardcover or paperback? And I have to say paperback. I find paperbacks so cozy to sit and curl up with. I do know that hardcovers are going to last longer, but I just love a lot of the covers of paperbacks as well. So yes, paperback is my preference. Question 4, favorite book? Well, it's going to depend on the day, but right up there is going to be Wives and Daughters, the Betsy Tacy series, Anne of Green Gables, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights. I just finished David Copperfield and really, really loved it. So I love David Copperfield. Trying to think of any other like favorite. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Harry Potter series. I could never pick just one favorite. Question 5, least favorite book. This was an easy one, and that would have to go to, drumroll, Jude the Obscure. I am still fuming about this book, and I keep toying with the idea of making a video on it, but then I get so annoyed when I think about all of the things that make me mad in that wretched, terrible book. Next question. Question 6, love triangles, yes or no? And I think it depends. If it's done in a way that doesn't annoy me, I think a way that would annoy me about a love triangle is if one of the members of the triangle is portrayed in a really one-dimensional way. Like when there is a girl who's choosing between 2 guys, and sometimes it'll be like the one guy is such a loser, so why would she ever like him? I like it if it's genuinely hard to choose, because then you understand why she is torn between the 2. Question 7, most recent book I couldn't finish. There are so many books in a year that I choose to not finish, but the most recent one I think is Another Man's Moccasins by Craig Johnson. This is the 4th in the Longmire detective series, And it was one of those cases of there was nothing that I was like, oh, I hate this about it, I hate this about it. Just sometimes with the mystery series, once the rosy honeymoon glow has worn off and I'm a few deep in the series, then I just end up being not really that interested, and I move on to all the other mystery series that I am interested in. And so I was sad that I wasn't interested in it, but it is what it is, and you can't force it. And the next one is a book you're currently reading. So I will show you my little stack because I'm never just reading one book. I'm reading 6 pages a day out of Robert Browning's The Ring and the Book until I finish the 2 books that we finish each month. So I only have 2.5 books left, which is wild. And Roz and I will finish this. Then I am halfway through Ramona and Her Father by Beverly Cleary and really, really enjoying this sweet, sweet middle grade book. Then I'm reading a chapter a day of The Mill on the Floss, and more on this in upcoming videos. Then I am reading a chapter a day out of A Girl of the Limberlost by Jean Stratton Porter, and this is the April Kindred Spirits book club pick. So I don't know when this video will be going up. I may have finished this by the time this video goes up. And then I will be starting immediately after I finish Ramona and Her Father, The Worst Witch, because I'm filming this on a Wednesday. This is due at the library on a Saturday, and I really want to finish this. And they're such a treat to read because of all the incredibly endearing illustrations in them. So cannot wait to get into this one. And the next question 9, the last book I recommended to someone, and that is The Lighthouse Stevensons by Bella Bathurst. This is a nonfiction I read in 2020, and it is all about the Stevenson family that just put up many, many lighthouses on sheer rock around the coast of Scotland. It was fascinating and just such a page turner of a topical nonfiction. So I am really hard pressed to enjoy a topical nonfiction. Question 10, the oldest book I've read. Well, aside from the Bible, I think it would be hard to be older than that, is Don Quixote, which I just recently finished. I talk a lot about more 19th century literature. That's really where I've read a lot more. Lot sparser earlier than that, and something I'd like to keep fixing slowly but surely. And so Don Quixote was my first attempt, and that was published 1605, I think is the date. Question 11, the newest book I've read, and I have to hold it up because I still love it so much, Son of the Deep by K.B. Hoyle. This came out in March, and I can't tell you, it is staying with me so well and so vividly. So I think maybe this summer I'll treat myself to a reread of it. I don't know. I want to. Then question 12, favorite author. Okay, and again, depends on favorite books depends on the day, but favorite author, I think I'm going to say 3, a holy trinity of authors. Elizabeth Gaskell is the first, and 1, it's Victorian literature, and I love Victorian literature. And 2, just her character studies are so fascinating. 3, the language that she uses is so beautiful. 4, I love how different each of her books all feel. And 5, I love the interesting plots that she has. Second author is George Eliot. George Eliot, her books hurt when you read them. They really do hurt. But I love how deeply she studies human nature. I love the literary nature of her writing. And I love the bigger questions of life that she asks in her writing. And third is going to be Maud Hart Lovelace. Now, interestingly, I haven't read much of her other fiction. I have here The Black Angels and Early Candlelight are 2 of her historical fiction that I have not read, and I'm basically really scared to read anything besides Betsy Tacy, but I have them there in the hopes that someday I will read them and love them. But just Betsy Tacy is such a huge, huge part of my reading heart, and yeah, I just love, love, love Betsy Tacy. Okay, question 13, buying books or borrowing books? I have to say, I almost think borrowing books. I love when I buy a favorite book, but I've found in recent years that it does stress me out a lot more. Just knowing I'm using up space in my house, I'm using up money, I hope I love this book. So I really love getting books from the library and doing my project of buying only 12 books this year has been easier than I thought it would be. Of course, I'm saying this only in April, so we'll see how I feel later on in the year, but so far it's going okay. The next question 14, a book I dislike that everyone seems to love. And this is not so much a book as an author, and that is Alexander McCall Smith. I have tried all of his series, and I do not like his writing. I do not understand it. I do not understand the appeal. I have tried, and finally I'm like, I don't feel motivated to try him anymore. So please, no one leave a comment. Have you tried this one by him? That's like when you say you don't like a food and someone says, oh, well, you haven't had it the way that I make it. No, just I am certain. I am content. There are too many other amazing books. You have no, like, the scale of books that I want to get to. So, and I'm just like, he's not for me, and I'm okay with that. Okay. The next one, bookmarks or dog ears? Bookmarks. It makes me very, very sad to fold down pages in a book. But interestingly, I'm okay like scribbling all in a book with a pen. For some reason, that feels different to me. It feels less abusive to the book. The next one, question 16, a book I can always reread. I feel like this goes into favorite books again, but the Harry Potter series, I would say because it's so long, there's a lot of material to reread there. Question 17, can you read while hearing music? If it is instrumental music, yes, and I am one of those that I love to set the atmosphere and have music. If I'm reading, like when I read Pony, I loved listening to the True Grit soundtrack. I love having on kind of dark atmospheric music when I read Victorian literature. I love having on mysterious music when I read mysteries, and light springtime music when I read those life-softening books. So yes, I love reading with music, as long as it is instrumental. Question 18, one point of view or multiple points of view? And I have to say, I think one point of view if I'm hard-pressed to pick. But then there have been books like Lucinda Riley's books and Susanna Kearsley's books where you get multiple perspectives and sometimes from different time periods, and I find it really works in those. So if I have to pick, I do generally like staying with one character, but then also I think of Son of the Deep, and that is from Rose and Orfeo's perspectives. So yeah. And question 19, do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? Definitely multiple days, unless it's a picture book or a really, really short book, which this is a longer one in the series, but the Worst Witch series. I don't really like reading books in one sitting, and I really can't with having the boys and just different things that I have to do around the house. Yes, and who do I tag? I feel like I am so behind on this, but maybe I will tag Gina Stanier over at Gina Stanier Books and Amy at Hearthridge. Who else is doing tags? Maybe Janelle from Too Fond of Books, if she hasn't done this tag. And if you are interested in doing this tag, just go ahead and do it. Yes, so I think that is all for now. Thank you for watching, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.